Right. Okay. I'm going to call to order the Yamhill County Board of Commissioners formal session, April 10th, 10 a.m. Christian, you want to lead us in the flag salute?
The flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for that. Up next is our calendar session. Is there any corrections, additions that you guys want to make? No? Okay. D is public comment. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to make comment on a non-agenda item? Anybody online, raise your virtual hand. Seeing none. E is department updates. There is none. F is work session. There is none. G is consent agenda. We got one item on there for surplus property. I would make a motion to approve. Is there any further discussion?
None.
None.
None. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. H is old business. There is none. I is other business. I1, review of the 2024-25 Property Value Appeals Board summary. Who's kicking us off on this?
This is something that, as Carrie described in the memo that comes forward before the board, it doesn't require any action, formal action by the board. It's just acknowledgement that
We
the
reviewed
results
it.
were presented to the board and you had a chance to review them.
Does anybody have any questions on it?
None.
None. Moving on. H.
I would move approval. Oh, well, we don't have to do it.
No,
It's just
yeah,
a review. Okay.
I2, consideration of adopting resolution 2504-10-1, recognizing April as Child Abuse Prevention and Awareness Month. And we have Russell Marks here to present. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning.
Thank you all. Deeply appreciate it. Commissioners, staff members, thank you so much. As you know, April is Child Abuse Prevention Month. This has been around since 1983. Juliet's House has participated every year since our doors opened in 1997. So 28 years of celebrating children, celebrating the fact that we are here doing this work and saving children's lives and doing all that we can along with some other incredible agencies in this community to prevent child abuse altogether. Our theme for this month is Hope Grows Here. There's a lot of activities. We're doing a marble hunt across the county in different communities. Some of you have helped with some of the videos. We're doing trainings. We have T-shirts that many companies and churches have purchased and are wearing around. Fridays, we like to make Wear Blue Day. Blue is the official color of Child Abuse Prevention Month. And you may have noticed that for the month, we have changed our logo at Juliet's House to represent the pinwheel, which is the universal sign of the month, as well as recognizing we're talking about kids. So we're very, very grateful for the support that this county gives, all the amazing organizations and companies and faith communities that come together, all for the sake of children. And we are grateful that every year the County Commission has received and made a proclamation about this month. So thank you very much.
Fantastic. Appreciate that. So I will now read the resolution into the record. Resolution 25-04-10-1. Whereas child abuse is one of our nation's most serious public health problems, with scientific studies documenting the link between the abuse of children and a wide range of medical, emotional, psychological, and behavioral disorders. And whereas it is estimated that 1 in 4 children will suffer significant abuse before the age of 18, and in 2023, 164,000 contacts were made to the Oregon Child Abuse Hotline. A total of 45,208 received reports from assigned received reports were assigned for CPS assessment. Of all completed CPS assessments, 7,861 were founded for abuse and involved 11,191 victims. And whereas the physical, emotional, mental, and fiscal impact of abuse falls on children of all ages and abilities who come from all economic, racial, and social backgrounds, and these crimes affect more family members, friends, neighbors, and communities. And whereas effective child abuse prevention efforts succeed because of partnerships created among state and local agencies, schools, faith communities, civic and community organizations, law enforcement agencies, and the business community, while recognizing that feeling connected to community can be protective factor against child abuse. And whereas Yamhill County is dedicated to stopping child abuse and supporting survivors and their non-offending families while working to prevent it. Whereas each of us have a role to play in stopping the problem of child abuse as part of solution by learning how to prevent, recognize, and report child abuse and supporting prevention, education, and empowerment programs for children and youth. Now, therefore, it is hereby resolved that Yamhill County Board of Commissioners, on behalf of the citizens of Yamhill County, hereby recognizes the month of April 2025 as Child Abuse Prevention and Awareness Month, and we reaffirm Yamhill County's commitment to creating a safer, healthier, more thriving community for our children and taking steps to help prevent child abuse through awareness efforts, prevention promotion, and training on responding responsibly. We encourage all Yamhill County citizens to wear blue each Friday in April as a public statement in support of child abuse prevention. We encourage community members to join in awareness and support throughout Yamhill County. Further, we call upon all citizens to invest in the lives of children by learning what they can do to help stop child abuse through Juliet's House, a community resource, by visiting www.julietshouse.org. Done this 10th day of April 2025.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming, Russell.
You bet.
Thank you.
you, guys.
Deb. Sure. Absolutely.
We need a motion.
Oh,
Oh,
I would move,
I'll motion. Yeah.
we have a motion for approval. Any further discussion? None. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Picture. Okay, great.
Going down there.
Just like right in the middle with
Okay.
a nice Yamhill County sign behind it, that would be great. Typical standard. Let Vanna hold the poster. Okay, you guys look great. Like to see you in blue tomorrow. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, moving on, we have item I3, consideration of the submission of an application for the 25-26 Yamhill County Assessment Function Funding Assistance, CAFA, grant application in the amount of $3,696,649.
I would move approval.
Motion's been made. Any further discussion?
None from me.
None. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Item I4 is consideration of approval of amendment number 1 to the lease agreement between Yamhill County and the Gary T. Baker Revocable Trust, successor in interest to Hard Rock Enterprises LLP, Board Order 00-283 for a portion of the Rogers Landing Park property, extending the term through June 30, 2050, with an option to review for an additional 25 years, rent for the initial extended term of $25.
What a deal.
I would move approval. Any further discussion?
None.
None.
None. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Item I5, consideration of approval and of agreement number 25-0038 between Yamhill County Health and Human Services and Oregon Health and Science University, OHSU, for the placement of students for clinical internships effective for 5 years upon full execution.
I would move approval.
Motion's been made. Any further discussion?
None?
None?
None. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Moving on to item I6, consideration approval of agreement number 1029202 between Yamhill County and the Oregon Health Science University, OHSU, replacing board order 19-307 to add funding in the amount of $30,312 retroactive to October 1, 2024 through September 30th, 2029.
And this is for our Cocoon program, which is for children who have special medical needs up to the age of 21. I would move approval.
Motion's been made. Any further discussion?
None for me.
None. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Moving on to item I7, consideration of approval of amendment number 9 to the agreement number 026028 between Yamhill County Health and Human Services and the Oregon Health Authority, Board Order 24-29, to add funding in the amount of $17,161.15 for housing-related needs retroactive to January 1, 2025 through June 30th, 2025.
And this is for our aid and assist population. I would move approval.
Motion's been made. Any further discussion?
None?
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Item I8, consideration of approval of a letter in support of the City of Newburgh's bid to receive capital project funds for the Newburgh Water Treatment Plant Ponds Project.
Chair, if you remember last year, the board supported this with a letter. This is just a resubmission of the letter. It's essentially the same letter, but we're just adding Commissioner King on there. Again, we have supported this and sent this letter in the past. So I would move approval of approving the letter.
Okay. Motion's been made. Any further discussion?
None?
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Wow.
Yeah.
Jay, public hearings, none.
Boring.
On to announcements. Commissioner King, kick us off.
Yeah. Busy week. Friday was MAC Readers. Commissioner Johnson and I were both there at Juliet's house about Child Abuse Prevention Month. And in fact, I've heard about every city council make the same proclamation that we did. Then sure one of you guys will talk a little bit more about it, but Saturday was the prayer breakfast in Newburgh, which was really a great event to be at. Sunday was a little weird for me, but I was invited to answer a few questions from Thousand Friends event, which I thought was a little weird, but ended up being one of their main speakers. But so it was kind of strange, but just as how the county and cities and land use kind of coincide together. So it was interesting how that relationships and the balance can maybe hopefully look better in the future. Had coffee with Mayor Kim Morris, an HHS orientation, adult outpatient and addiction recovery. Newburgh City Council, biggest takeaway, especially as it pertains to us and how I really like the liaison where it plays out, is the council passed the lease agreement with Rogers Landing for us, and where their NERA recommended, and I think their city council actually did this as well, to implement the renewal of this some of the street project from 6th to 11th, so right up to Rogers Landing. So yeah, that just kind of where all three of us come together. Pretty cool. Tuesday is a big day, 3 board meetings, essentially. LIPSIC, a lot of talk about grant funding, pre-talk, essentially. and the liability and funding of ankle monitoring for the jail. YCOM was kind of a budget prep. And then the joint session that we did with the city of McMinnville and just talking about our properties that we're vacating. Toured the transit center here on 2nd Street and my monthly meeting with Cynthia. Then Yamhill City Council, a lot of their agenda got pushed to next month, but they had talked about their, see if I get the acronym right, DLCD grant funding was kind of their main focus. So that's all I have.
Cool.
So it was a big night for fair ambassadors, and I was happy to be on the selection committee. And I wanted to call out those who had been chosen. We had 12 applicants, and every single one of them would have been a wonderful representation of the county for the fair. But the list is Brianna Titular, Dayton High. I tell you, Dayton really cleaned up. They came in with the goods. Caden Christensen from Amity, Wynn Johnston from Dayton High School, Orianne Gladhart. And I want to just mention what was at stake in deciding who was going to be. We have 4 ambassadors. A lot of the times we just looked at the fact that there were juniors who had applied and said, you've got an opportunity next year. So we looked at the seniors. It was very competitive. For me, it had to do with, well, every single one of them had involvement in the community, FFA, 4-H, OSET, community activities, but what did their application look like? What was their GPA? What was their presentation in terms of speaking and presenting? And really it was very impressive. So I do want to say congratulations to them and thank Leslie Lewis again for her commitment to this program. It was very, very impressive. Also, just an update, we talk a little bit about what some of the concerns are regarding federal funding for our programs. Northwest Senior Disability Services, we took a hard look at some of the programs. The Older Americans Act is the federal program that funds Northwest seniors. And also Project Independence is what funds it at the state level. There are no cuts or changes to the services, so I want to make that clear. And the other thing I wanted to bring up is that this has been a very destructive legislative session. We have seen an increase in, we're looking at a 20-cent to increase to the state's 40-cent per gallon gas tax on tires, $66 to the Oregon vehicle registration fees, $90 to titling fees, increases the state's weight mile tax, which is going to increase the price of goods. Also, I really want to call out what's been going on in terms of the gun bills. And as we know, we fought really hard against Measure 114 and what that was going to do. But what the legislature did was come back and basically implemented all the restrictions of ballot measure 114. So what this wound up doing is along with the other bills that were discussed and passed out of judiciary, they are the most extreme gun bills we have ever considered. And it has one purpose. If you look at what this will accomplish, is to basically pretty much end lawful firearm transfers in the state. And it will, in essence, shut down the firearms industry in terms of being able to purchase and the whole permit process. If you talk to our sheriff and you talk to other sheriffs, it is unworkable, untenable, expensive. And once again, it's the lawful firearms owners who are going to take a hit on this, and for the kids who are in shooting sports. And we see some of these kids who are into hunting and shooting and compete on a national basis, and that's going to really impact them. However, who it won't impact are the criminals who don't look at any of the laws before this, but ultimately will, if they want to steal a gun, they'll go ahead and do what they need to do. But this will impact firearms owners. So very disappointing to see this. It's disturbing. Not only the majority party, but I think the minority party has a part to play in this. And they had the one nuclear option, which is not to be on the floor and offer a quorum. So there are just not enough of the Republicans who are willing to do that, and it is disappointing. Also, I do want to say that we have somebody leaving us who is going to leave a big hole here at the county, and that is Jody Gallahan, who's our senior assistant county counsel, who has been not only excellent work, but she's brought a spirit of levity and joy. It's going to be really hard for her to be not there in the morning.
Did you bring the yodeling pickle to send her off correctly, or?
No, there's lots of other things upstairs to
Okay.
send her off.
I think I have a recording of the yodeling pickle. Last Thursday, had a chat with the chair, went well. I had Linda O'Hara show up, and it really got into a deep conversation with the sheriff and Captain Brown, who showed up, who, thank you for being consistent to that. I mean, it really broadens the conversations when you have other departments of the county show up. But it ended up, after the conversations were done for about an hour, really just focused on Linda. Captain Brown's going to give her a tour of the jail. So I actually had a few other people reach out to me for a tour of the jail. So we're going to see if we can get a group together, and Captain Brown's going to take us through. So chat with the chair went great. Last Friday was Juliet's house, as Commissioner King brought up. It was very well attended. Great to see that support for those guys. Next, or tomorrow, is going to be Max Greeters is going to be at Casa. And that's going to be at 930 Northeast Street at Praise Church, starting at 8 a.m. If you have any questions, reach out to John Olson. Saturday, we touched on, it was a Newburgh prayer breakfast that we all attended. Monday, I had Dayton City Council meeting, discussions around their well fields that they have on one of their properties and rehabbing that and seeing if they can get some state funding to help. And also they supported some donation requests from Dayton FFA for their Easter egg hunt that they have every year. And the volunteer fighter fighters also put on a barbecue chicken dinner there that is always well attended. So city helped them out on that. Tuesday, Mac hosted us for a joint session for discussions on our downtown properties that over the next year will be vacating. I thought it went well. I thought it was a good conversation. We pretty much just, I think mostly it's laying it out for MURAC and the city to know where we're coming from, number one, what our, if we have ideas for our properties, whether it's detox or if we need some more transitional housing for HHS, just kind of laying the groundwork for that. And then yesterday was Soil and Water at 7:30. I couldn't make that one because I had a meeting right at 8. So I actually stopped in early just to talk to Barbara Boyer real quick, make sure there was no concerns, because that was actually going to be my second one I was going to miss of Soil and Water, and I don't like to miss them that much. So we had a quick conversation for about 15 minutes, make sure that there was nothing that I needed to be aware of. And then pretty much the rest of the day was just dealing with facilities move for assessment and taxation, which is Derek's department, which if I'm reading the schedule right and seeing the progress that facilities has been making at the campus building, it seems like midweek next week is a pretty safe bet that A&T is going to be moved to the new facility. So that's going to be awesome. That's going to be really, other than planning, that's going to be the first really big department that gets moved over there. Earlier here, a month ago, we got IT moved over there, which went well. And it was a nice little precursor to get that done to see how it was going to go with assessment and tax. So that's happening. We went around with Carrie later that afternoon to start the next phase move, which is going to be the clerk. And that's going to be interesting because we have deadlines that we have to work in between without fail. We have an election in May and the next election in November that we have to get this done and make sure it's up and running. So we're going to be pretty much all hands on deck trying to make sure that runs very, very smoothly. We did fast forward clerk move just because May is going to be a lighter election, or is November and May is going to be lighter. So now's the time to do it so that we're prepared for next May's election. So anyway, that's
And that's a tough one because Secretary of State's office is so intimately entwined in everything that's done over at the clerk's office. They have to approve, they have to address, they have to sign off. So I just kudos to our clerk. She's been on top
And
of it.
she knows every aspect of it, and DOJ has to sign off on it, clerk or the Secretary of State have to sign off on it. And one of the concerns when we were talking about it is, well, what's their response time on this? And they seem fairly responsive. So once Sarah gets the designs down, we're going to go back and forth a couple times and then do a walkthrough with DOJ and Secretary of State and make sure that they don't see anything glaring and then go from there.
Yeah, because it's going to require some improvements. And so we're going to
Yep.
have to pull permits and,
Yep.
and go through some process. So there's going to be some, we're not going to be able to avoid some construction with that space. And just to clarify that we haven't moved the clerk up on the schedule for moving, because actually the next group is HHS is going to be the big move. It's the clerk is in the same, because we're going to need to make some improvements to the hearing room and also the third floor. So we're trying to get all of that design work done. So then we can start going through our process, which is pulling permits, finalizing designs, do our RFPs,
Yeah.
get a contractor. But we are really trying to push for the clerk move to happen September,
Yeah.
to have well in advance of November and before election season opens. There's
Yeah.
going to be a lot to that.
Let's see, tonight's Lafayette City Council meeting. Welcome, Mayor. Thanks for being here and attending. Saturday is Outdoor Education Adventures. They are going to have a fundraiser at 5:30 at Mesa Raw Vineyard or Winery. If you don't know, this is Nessa. She's on our Parks Board and very, very involved. She gave our presentation, I think, last week. So if you guys get a chance, head out there for that fundraiser. And that's all I got. We are adjourned at 10:27. We are going to go into executive session.